skills, be the boss. No more time to feel lost. Lead the way every day. Find success, it's here to stay. Rise and shine, it's your time. Skill up, raise the climb. Navigate, innovate. It's your fate, don't be late. Get the skills, be the boss. No more time to feel lost. Lead the way every day. Find success, it's here to stay.
If you're a new manager or hoping to be a new manager, join us in our exploration into what managers need to know. This program will set you up for success by building your knowledge and confidence in the skills you need to be effective. Hello, and welcome to What Managers Need to Know. The purpose of this program is to provide managers, particularly new managers, with information about management concepts, tools, and tips that will help them be successful in their roles. The format has been having a different management theme each month, or approximately each month. There are 5 brief weekly sessions that provide a new concept, tip, or tool related to that theme. And we have looked at delegation, coaching, team building, change management, and now we are looking at performance management. A little bit about me. I taught for the Executive Management Institute and the Small Business Development Center at the University of Wisconsin-Madison for the School of Business for 30 years as an ad hoc instructor. I've been a workplace learning and performance improvement consultant with my own business for 38 years. So we're looking at performance management, and our 5 weeks will first look at, very briefly, at the 6-step model that we'll be introducing throughout the other weeks. Then we'll move to identifying responsibilities and worker activities, setting qualitative and quantitative performance standards for those activities, how we'll monitor and then give feedback regarding what we see, and taking action when the performance is up to snuff and when there are problems with the performance. So my first question is, how many of you meet with your employees to discuss their performance only once or twice a year? How many of you feel that's working out just fine for you and your employee? Because my experience has been that when you only meet once or twice a year, it's an uncomfortable experience for both the supervisor and the employee. So I welcome you. How does your organization manage performance? Does your organization conduct a formal performance evaluation? It's so important for employees to get feedback, to get timely feedback regarding what they're doing well and what they're not doing well and what they need to do to address that. How often does it occur? If it's only occurring once or twice a year, there's a problem. Do your employees look forward to it? If it's once or twice a year, then the employee is looking forward to it with great fear and trepidation, not knowing what hammer is going to fall on their head. Do your managers look forward to it? It's an uncomfortable experience to wait after a year or a half a year and then sit down and want to iron out all the issues that you have seen and have to remember what those are. And unfortunately, there's the halo effect, although I don't think that's the right one I want, where you remember the most recent activities, which may not be representative of the entire year. So, is what you're doing now effective? Does the employee leave knowing what's expected, knowing what they're doing well, knowing how to address what they're not doing well? Is the relationship between the employee and the manager or supervisor a collegial and cooperative one? Or is it one where both are distrusting of the other? So let's look at the 6-step model. Formal performance evaluations are often very stressful annual events. They are too little and too late to make a positive difference in employee performance. Instead, there should be ongoing coaching dialogue throughout the year between the employee and the supervisor or manager. This way, when they walk into a formal evaluation session, they can simply continue their dialogue. There's no surprises, there's no fear. You know what's been going on. You've been keeping touch throughout the year. It's just a continuation of that communication. This model is a performance standard-based system that incorporates the 6 basic steps involved in effective supervisory leadership. And if you can engage the employee actively in the decision-making for the first 4 of these 6 steps, that is much more likely to ensure their commitment to and trust in the process. So I don't know if you can see this well. I'll try to point out. Step 1 is identifying the key responsibilities, what it is you want your employees to do. And step 2 is the worker activities that are expected in order to achieve those key responsibilities. And together they create the job description. And I realize that may be for some of you an old-fashioned idea, but without a job description, how does an employee know what they're expected to do? And we will look at these first 2 in next week. The following week, we will look at defining performance standards, and these need to be both qualitative and quantitative. And yes, it's possible to create qualitative standards that are still specific, observable, and measurable. On our 4th week, we will look at monitoring, and you will see the monitoring occurs throughout the year at various times. If it's a new employee, it's going to happen much more frequently than it will with a more seasoned employee. But even the seasoned employee needs for the manager or supervisor to touch base with them, to be monitoring and making sure things are going well, and being able to recognize when they're going well and convey that to the employee so that the employee isn't in limbo as to whether what they're doing is acceptable or not. And providing feedback. And that feedback is in a coaching mode. So we're trying to work cooperatively with the employee, draw from the employee what's working well, what isn't, why not, what the employee suggests they can do or they need in order to get their performance back up to speed. And then we take action. If the employee is performing well, we want to reward them in some way and certainly at least acknowledge that they're performing well. If they're not performing well, if they're not performing up to standard, then we have a decision tree to work through to help identify what would be the most appropriate action to take in that situation. And we'll look at that on the 5th week of our series. So the whole purpose of this performance management program is to advocate for a year-long performance evaluation and performance management process. If that hasn't become clear, hopefully it's very clear now. And let me get to, here we go. So let's talk. If you would like help with performance management, please schedule time to talk. You have the URL there. You also have the QR code. Next week, we will get into the first and second steps of the 6-step process, where we'll be looking at identifying the key responsibilities of the position and the worker activities required to accomplish them, both together creating a job description that is a good outline of what you expect the employee to do, so that both you and the employee know what those expectations are. I want to thank you for sharing your time with me. Thank you so much for coming and participating in our discussion of what managers need to know. You can find the videos of this and previous sessions on my YouTube channel or under events on my LinkedIn profile. I'll look forward to seeing you again next week.
Get the skills, be the boss, no more time to feel lost. Lead the way, every day, find success, it's here to stay. Get the skills, be the boss, no more time to feel lost. Lead the way, every day, find success, it's here to stay. It's here to stay. Oh, it's here to stay. It's here to stay. Yeah. Get the skills, be the boss, no more time to feel lost.